Welcome to P-06. We have been talking about 5 different landforms. Finally, we are coming to Paalai. Paalai people, we call it a derelict landform, or a spoiled landform, or a desert area landform, or an unused landform. So all these things are there. Usually, these kind of landforms are available in desert areas where the soil is unfit for any growth or anything like that. Here we have located one place called as the Ramnath district in Ramanathapuram, where the landform is totally unused for any other purposes. So we have taken that as a landform and developed that into a Paalai, where we have used palm tree trunks as a walkways. Palm leaves are used for the shelters. Then we have created a village in the same of palm leaves, and we also use some tensile roofing. These kind of people who live in Paalai area are normally nomads. So they use the gudaram, we call it, tensile roofing has been created. And we have a multimedia exhibition and all the other advanced facilities for the people to understand the lifestyle and selling place for the other things. And we also have a lot of cactus garden, and we also have created an oasis here, so with the water storage here, and people to understand the unused, unwanted, derelict landform, and the large gathering places become being one of the village area where it connects the East Coast Road from Chennai to Thoothukudi and further beyond. So we took this opportunity to develop this as one of the very big tourist spots. And the entry point here is designed very interestingly. We call it Murinja Maram, or a broken tree or twisted tree as a concept. Go through the concept, if you go through the detailed drawings, whatever we have provided, and you will understand the concept, the different lifestyle of the people.
This garden, these kind of different characters which are available in our landform, been effectively used to develop them as one of the vantage picnic spots or gardens by the Tamil Nadu government. It was given to us as a Chief Minister's pet project. So we have been asked to develop and see the site of all the 5 lands and then identify them as a site to be used, and then design in the site what is required and go on like that. But when we talk about Kurinji, we had easily able to select the Yerkad, which is hill and surrounding. When we got to go about Mullai, which was forest and surrounding, they put us in a forest, easy for us. And when we talk about Marudam, it was an agricultural area. So it was very easy to take the agriculture area. We had a Neidal, of course the land was inside, but ultimately we were able to. But when it comes to Paalai, this area is supposed to be derelict land, a spoiled land or unusable land, or how are you going to develop it? Or there is another version, they call this as a desert. So in Tamil Nadu area, how to find a desert? Then we have to come to some kind of a compromise, some kind of an understanding how to go about it. So we ultimately selected a place called, what is the name? It's called Achadi Parambu. Achadi Parambu in Ramnath district in Tamil Nadu, which is around 200 kilometers from Madurai. But the site is already a low-lying area, number one. Number two, almost 8 months it will be dry, no activity, no greenery, nothing. Balance period, you always have the backwaters or seawater or the fresh water landing up there. And we had all sort of problem of a derelict land or a spoiled land. But how to develop it and what does it call. See, actually, the scrub or thorn glands of Tamil Nadu occupy small areas of the state, primarily around Tirunelveli, which lies on the leeward side and of the mighty Agastya mountains of the Western Ghats. And here, the relatively scenic, very scanty rainfall is there. So, how to go about it? And you have very scrubland available. And the environmentalists are already crying about preserving the landscape and ecosystem and wealth of the flora and fauna of its location. But how to go about it? So we had a challenge actually in the site. It was in the part of the East Coast Road starting from Chennai to Kanyakumari. This is on the side of the East Coast Road in Ramnad district. And the existing photograph shows you have only acacia plants are available and some scrub vegetation is available. But how to go about it? You can see the land, how dry it is, what you can do in that, we don't know. But when we prepared the master plan, we had a very definite plan, Okay, basic requirement, entry point. Then this kind of derelict land will have all the characters of unwanted land. Then you should have something like oasis, should have something like a cave where the people hide themselves, they basically hunters, so you have to give them that kind of a space. And then you have to have a place for the Sangam period of vegetation, their kind of villages, their kind of sand dunes. Then you should have the restaurants and then information center. I mean, these are all what you call different words of the facilities which is ultimately required. And you have to have a pathway and you have to use a natural material. So all those things are very important in designing this particular site. We had almost taken to the tune of 20 acres, and with the entry national highway, your East Coast Road is there. You have an entry point with the parking facility. And the entry point is very interesting, you can see, This is the overall plan you have. You have the main gate as a broken or twisted tree. In this one itself we have the ticket booth, we have everything, this is made out of concrete. As you see, it's a wood, but it is made out of concrete and other thing. And this is the kind of character we like to give in that entry point. So once you enter, this kind of character ultimately give you a very good outlook with the cactus planting and derelict land. All those things are very this thing, your tensile roof. We call them, Goodaram in Tamil, we used to have those kind of environment for the people to stay and people to use the spaces. You always talk about multimedia and the information center, but it is ultimately a Goodaram where, the olden days, you should have just a cloth hanging and then people used to stay there. That is what the roof was. Of course, we had done a concrete roof and over which we covered it with other thing. And this is supposed to be the oasis with the entry point. Then they have a mud pathways, water skating and other. We have to have activity for the people to come and use it. It's a huge area and very high potential tourist value. So how to go about it? That's the main thing for us. So your villages, your sand dunes, all these things created. We have got the sand from the sea in the nearby area to give this kind of outlook. Then you have cactus and other planting, and you have to have a dry hill. So we have artificially created everything in the site. And we have the temple, we have the hut also for the, we call it a pavilion nowadays, but it was a hut, mud houses. Then you have the god. We have the information center. Then we have some camels there for the people to take a ride, and some see scooters are there. We have to have a modern facility. We cannot shy away from the modern facilities now, the present day. Even though you are going back to 2000 era in kind of settings, but in terms of facility, we have to have what we have now. So this kind of dry plants, cactus garden is being created there. Sand dunes with casuarina and then cashew plants. And then these are all the scenes, which were being painted on a wall or sculptures created. And you have the poems sung by those poets in those days. Then you have a deer is taking care of his younger calf with the shade providing. His shade it's giving for the younger calf. Then the bird is also doing the same thing. When the mother is taking care of the children, that was the basic intention here. Again, the elephants are giving shade to the young ones. So it's a life cycle, every person taking care of their own kids and things like that. Then our people are also, fond of fana and avifana. We are talking about person taking care of a crane which got hurt on the leg, so he's doing a veterinary doctor here. So the activities are all taken care. Then man is going for a tour to sell the products, and then he is telling the wife, I'm going and come back, you be all of you here and take care. So I will go and bring all the food and other materials, and he says he goes on a hunting spree to get the animals or food or whatever it is. And returning from soldiers, and the king is returning with after the war and other things. These are the kind of thing they do it, or they go for a hunting spree on the forest. How it happened? These are all paintings which we try to put it on the wall, so that people understand what was the life in those period. Then women folk waiting for the husband to come back from the war, or sending the man to earn his living. and the families living. Then you have the vegetation, palmera trees. And of course your modern motor travels in the desert sand. Then you have camel riding. You have oasis, plants with oasis. Then sand skating for the children's play area. Natural materials are used for the kids. Cactus garden. And we have this palmera walking, this is very interesting. Now after several developed in the site, it's a very good shaded walking for the people. Then overall planting concept, different plant materials are used as per the Sangam period. You have trees and vegetation, around 20-25 varieties of plants are there.
Paalai, as I was telling, you were going through all the details and everything. It is a delicate land, a spoiled land. But what happened ultimately as a designer, we felt, totally let down by the people. People suddenly started thinking they want a garden there. So in that area, you cannot have a garden. The collectors have watered our concept of open space. Suddenly they want a merry-go-round. So you keep on, people are changing, and then people, different fantasies are there. They don't continue the old man concept. This kind of thing do happen in a government organization when you are working. So you have to adjust to that and give them what is required. Even though the concept, they cannot kill the concept of Paalai, but it is being used for a lot of other greeneries and things like that. And even getting a good contractor is also very important when you are designing a place like Paalai and other things. We have enjoyed the Paalai. Thank you.